Well, hello there, motherfuckers, and welcome to the first Smackdown review of 2018. So, once again, just like Raw, it's back to the same old shit. We're starting off with Shane McMahon, AJ, and Bryan in the ring. Is Bryan on Sami Zayn and Owens' side, or is he, I don't know, and they're not even giving any answers yet. And they're taking a bit too long trying to tell the story. Oh, Brad, you say you want storylines. Yeah, but this is not exactly interesting. And like I said, I am not crazy about Zayn and Owens. Like, where are they going? They don't even know what they're going to do with these guys. So, AJ has a match with Sami Zayn tonight. It's bad enough we saw Owens and AJ for 1,000 fucking times during 2017. How are we going to start off the year in 2018 by continuing the feud? I mean, how many more times are we supposed to see this? Just because you're adding Sami Zayn to the mix doesn't exactly make it seem fresh. It's the same old fucking shit, in a new rapper. Not even in a new rapper, a beaten down old crusty rapper. I am so sick and tired of seeing these guys together wrestling, in tag matches. Enough is enough already. And the fanboys out there, the smarks, will still continue to get behind Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. They're not really doing anything interesting with these guys. They're in tag matches, then they're all of a sudden contenders for the world title. We'll get to that a little bit later on. Then we had our first match of the night, and it looked like Chad Gable and Shelton Benjamin were champions. They beat the Usos in the middle of the ring. Oh, new champion. So I guess I was wrong. It's not like they're just going to keep on giving these guys endless opportunities, and then, they're just not going to end up winning it like a lot of these teams. The Aiden English and Rusev are so over. It looked like they probably deserved to win the tag titles at Clash of Champions. They didn't go through with it. I was like, okay, well, I like the Usos as champions anyway. Then we move on to these guys. They're even making a joke out of it. How many opportunities are these guys supposed to get? So they get another opportunity. They earn another opportunity. They have a match and they won. And then all of a sudden they remember that there's an instant replay. And they've said for years in WWE, this is what I never understood. Probably the most famous thing where we thought somebody was going to win and then they troll the crowd. And that could be a great heat getter, especially if you're against the heel. It worked for Triple H when everybody thought Jericho beat him for the world title in the year 2000. Remember that Raw? The crowd exploded. Go back and watch it on the network. It was like in April, I believe. Jericho pinned Triple H. I think he hit like a lion salt or some shit. And like the whole crowd was like, oh, they went like fucking nuts over it. And then they said that because Jericho, I think, either got help or used a steel chair, they ended up disqualifying him in the end, and they reversed the decision of the match. Then they did it again with The Rock and Chris Benoit later that year. Benoit beat The Rock, and then, because he had cheated, they ended up restarting the match, and The Rock ended up winning. So, it was a good way of getting, heel heat, and then kind of doing a swerve on it. But here it's like nobody cares. It's two babyface teams, I think. So, here we go again. Now they had another opportunity. They didn't win the titles. And I know that Shelton Benjamin is with Chad Gable because, he's supposed to be kind of mentoring him. He's trying to get Chad Gable over. Well, the whole lame, trying to be hip because you're teaming with the black guy gimmick. Remember when he was rapping, backstage to the Usos? It was really lame. And hearing it in that super nerdy voice of his, he's got Seth Rollins syndrome. He sounds like an ambulance siren, for God's sakes. Would that be funny if that, remember the Right to Censor theme? Where it was just that blaring, like, can you imagine if that was Chad Gable's voice, just do it to some beat, I guess it would sound, something like that. I don't know. It would, maybe that would get him over. But Shelton Benjamin, we talk about, work rate, and all that, and this is a guy who's got he looks even better than he did back in 2004. Shelton Benjamin, he looks like the gold standard. So, and you're comparing him to guys who are in the world title picture that look like Sami Zayn and look like Kevin Owens. You've got to be kidding me. So I don't get it. It looks foolish now. They've had like 4 title opportunities. They lost every single one. What a bunch of losers. So they trade the titles back and forth with New Day, but with Chad Gable and Shelton Benjamin, we're just going to make them look like losers. Okay. Um, Breeze Dongo and the Bludgeon Brothers, they had a match, which, I don't get it. The Ascension ran in, they got their asses kicked. The only thing about this, what I've noticed is, I like how Eric Rowan and Luke Harper are looking at the hard camera, which is something that, we really haven't seen in a long time. Stars like Goldberg used to do that, where they were really like connecting with the audience. So I liked seeing that. That was a bit of a throwback, but this is pointless. Once again, like, what are we doing with these guys? We've got some talented big men that can move around the ring. They look intimidating. They play the part. They look like they could scare little children, but we're not really doing anything with these guys. They're kind of like in a weird stasis. They don't know, Breeze Dongo and the Ascension are not going to get these guys over. It's not going to really lead to anything. We're not going to have any memorable moments. So why bother? This is what I ask. Why do we even bother with this stuff? Why is it on the show? It's filler. The whole show is filler, for God's sakes. Can we at least admit that? New Day is backstage. Xavier Woods is blindfolded. First of all, guys, they're doing like a guessing game. What is on the table? Golden Girls DVD set. He says, oh, is it equipment for his YouTube channel, or is it pancakes? So, first of all, let's really just say this. We really have to say this for old time's sake. I am sick to death of these goofballs. Every single week it is the same horse shit with these idiots. Pancakes and weird stuff like blindfolding him, like all these retarded childish things. And you've got people in the audience eating it up. Oh, I love pancakes. I love all this stupid retarded shit that they're doing. It is so stupid and played out and dumb. And it was funny when they did it for the first couple of months, when they did it for the first year, for the first 2 years, but now going on 3 years, enough is enough already. I've seen all I can stand of New Day. It is time for Big E to fucking just destroy Kofi and Woods and just break out on his own already. Do something with one of these guys. Have somebody turn heel. Because this is beyond stale. I mean, this is like fucking bread that's been sitting out for a goddamn month. I mean, we are entering into just the same replay over and over. It's like the goddamn Twilight Zone. It is the same stuff week after week with these guys. There's no deviation from it. It's the same stuff, and it's one day it's what were they doing? The unicorn horns, now it's pancakes, and it's like, oh, look how different we are. Look how outrageous we're being. And none of it's really funny. It's just really dumb and stupid and childish. And it's like, it's clear to see that many adults watch this show. And, I understand that this is the PG element of the show. But we have to remember, it's not rated G. This is in prime time. And a lot of the time you can see they are targeting an older audience in some portions of the show. So why are they settling for all of this childish shit? And I know they're scared of losing merchandise, and I know a lot of, the fanboys of New Day are going to come at me with that. Oh, yeah, they sell a lot of merchandise. Well, this has been the problem. And that was the problem with John Cena's character for a while, why they didn't want to change him. because they just didn't want to risk merchandise sales. So it was ridiculous. Merchandise sales drop. Oh, we got to just rewrite everything for creative. It's getting a bit ridiculous. It is time to take some chances. It is 2018 and they've been doing the same shtick. Not just New Day, but they've been doing the same style of business here for an alarming amount of years. It is time to move on from this style of, oh, let's just try to sell a lot of merchandise and not really care about, how we make our talent look. Um, Xavier defeated Aiden English in the U.S. Championship tournament match. Uh, just looking at this match, I'm like, this is for the U.S. title. These are the contenders for the U.S. title. I'm like, this looks like the contenders for some indie world title or some shit like that. This doesn't look like it's for the prestigious title. This is not the same title that was worn by Ric Flair and all these other legends. It is, but I'm saying it's like you got to be kidding me. They're wrestling for the same title, and this is the type of these are the competitors we have. These are the worthy challengers. You've got to be fucking joking. So Woods wins here, and somehow, some way, we're supposed to buy this guy as a viable champion. You look at like the champions that we had. John Cena, Rusev, these guys, that look like $1,000,000, and then you're showing me a goofball like Xavier Woods. I mean, backstage, they had one of those classic segments. Not a lot is changing here, guys, from 2017 to 2018. They're all lined up. You've got Lana, Tamina, Natalia, and Carmel. They're all like in like a straight line here, so the whole camera can get them. It's not like natural how it used to be, where one guy is in the back, one's in the front, one's on the left, one's on the right. No, we're just doing like single file, like they're some fucking robots or clones of each other, and they are clones of each other because none of these girls is allowed to explore their personality. None of these girls are allowed to step out. Like, who is Tamina? I don't know. Who is Natalia? She wears cat ears. They talk about her being a cat lady. Does she act like a cat lady? I don't know. The last time I saw her, she was crying and running out of the ring like some type of fucking depressed lunatic. So I don't really know anything about these girls, but all I know is they like to stand in straight lines. That's about all we could really get and analyze from them. It's just looks downright goofy. It's like single file, like the military. They're standing there, and they're not allowed to really show that much character. Like Carmella was one of the ones when they let her go in the ring when she was with Ellsworth. After winning Money in the Bank, she was cutting these great promos. She was getting heat. And now all of a sudden, she's single file backstage. I'm not really getting where they're going with her. Why would you destroy somebody who proved they could have a great character and cut great promos? You'd reduce her to just one of the other women standing single file. I mean, and they've really reduced these girls. They used to be divas. Now they're not even divas anymore. They're just women. So that's the problem here. Now they're just women, just plain women, just standing there, and they're not allowed to have any type of personalities. They're standing single file with like blank expressions on their face and waiting for the interviewer to ask them, and it's very robotic. It's like these promos are programmed with a fucking computer. Um, then we had the match. The Riot Squad defeated all the girls: Natalia, Carmella, and Tamina. Okay, so we're just gonna have random tag matches. After the match, it's Charlotte coming out. She introduces Naomi. Becky Lynch returns, who I didn't even realize was gone. They don't even give you a reason to miss any of these people. They're gone for weeks, and you're like, oh yeah, she hasn't even been on the show. I didn't even notice. Being honest, that's my reaction to it. I like Becky Lynch. Good looking girl, good talent, and everything. She shows a bit of spunk, but I didn't even realize she was gone, to be honest. So they all come out to the ring, and they chase out the Riot Squad. Didn't we see this last week and the week before and the week before that? Each week is a repeat and nothing ever seems to move forward. Like I said, it's like they're in some weird type of stasis where they're not allowed to move forward. We just repeat until we get to the pay-per-view. And then we're going to do this exhaustively for the next couple of weeks until they decide to move on to something else. What will they torture us with next? That's always the question that I ask. Then in the main event, it was Sami Zayn defeating AJ Styles. There you go. I mean, what more could really be said here? I mean, what do you guys want me to say? I mean, Sami Zayn beating AJ Styles. I mean, 2 weeks in a row they beat their champion. Sami Zayn is like getting one hell of a gut too. I mean, Jesus Christ. So I mean, maybe they are made for each other. Owens, another fat slob. At least he has the decency to wear a shirt. And even though he's not as rotund as Owens, Sami Zayn does, oh my God, like a non-existent physique. And it's almost like he's showing it off, like he's proud of it, like a Trevor Murdoch or some shit. But at least you could say that a Trevor Murdoch at least had a look to him. I mean, at least it kind of fit that character that they were going for. Um, but here we go with this handicap match. So AJ gets on the mic. He says, "Oh, why don't you might as well put me in a handicap match?" And Brian does it, as a way of drawing heat. The crowd doesn't even sound like they care. He starts doing a yes chant. The crowd just follows along. So I guess we're all happy we're screwing AJ out of the title, who's the face. I mean, you couldn't write like worse garbage than this, really. So I mean that's the big storyline there. So now it's like, so you're not even really getting Brian over as a heel as effectively as you could do. This is all they could do. Oh, well, he's booking him in a handicap match. He took him too literally. It's like, I've said this time and time again, and I said it in my Raw review. Why is it brain surgery? Why do we have to think so deeply? Well, is Brian a heel or not? What did he do? It's like, just have him be a heel already. Have him oppose Shane. Speed it up a little bit. For God's sakes, you've been going on with this storyline for 2 or 3 months already, and it doesn't even feel like it's going anywhere. Do something with it. Speed it up. Every single week, it's a little bit, and there's not enough intrigue. This is why people are not coming back for more. You're writing a storyline that's not even interesting. And so, you have these little increments of where the story is progressing, but nobody even seems to notice. Or if they do notice, I don't even notice it. What really progressed from last week to this week? Not okay, so we made the handicap match. Okay, great. So now we have to sit there and we're having another iteration of AJ versus Owens, which we already saw more than enough times last year. So we're basically getting the same main event that we were getting already multiple times last year. Guys, I don't even know about this fucking product. Like I said, it doesn't bode well when we're seeing the same thing for the first show. We're seeing the same exact thing. I don't know, guys. Terrible show here. What was even the point of this show? Anyway, guys, this has been your YWC champ with your SmackDown review, and I'm signing out.